Hey, this is part one in a 4-part video series about the 4 stages of growth as a neurotransformational coach. It's extremely important for you to understand where you are and what your next steps are to go to the very next stage so that you don't try to do too much and fall for shortcuts and end up sabotaging everything. This is going to be a game changer. Watch this entire series. Today, we're going to talk about the first of 4 stages of neurotransformational coaching success. So for any of you that want to be deep dive coaches, if you want to do some of the deeper breakthrough work and you want to help people neurologically change their life, in the way that they experience themselves, their bodies, the relationships, money, all the things that can shift in the human experience, there's a distinct pathway to that for you as the person that wants to do deep dive coaching, but also for the people that are potentially going to say yes to deep dive coaching. And those two things feed off each other. I think there's way too much focus on how to sell things that people will say yes to without enough understanding and awareness of what you have to be as the magnet for them to say yes to that. So there's the fence of the prospect, but then there's the coach. And we tend to think that if we could just get really good at marketing and sales, then people are going to buy. Not the case, not at all with deeper coaching, because people need to trust you. They need to know that you trust you. They need to know that you understand this content. The content itself is sometimes intimidating. It's inviting to the intellectual idea of changing our lives and hitting our goals and making more money and all that stuff. But at the same time, I think we as humans just have this natural sort of resistance mechanism to where we actually resist what we know will work if it's going to be uncomfortable. We resist the discomfort aspect inside of what actual breakthroughs create in us, right? So we like the outcome of the breakthrough, but we resist the process of the breakthrough. And because that is unique to something that's going to actually change somebody's life, the way to sell that is different than the way that you sell just like a marketing program, or the way that you sell money, or the way that you sell getting organized, or just more surface level stuff. A lot of people go, oh, that can change my life, but they know it won't be uncomfortable in the process. So then, there's a few boxes that they need to understand. They need to understand the financial maybe return, or, why is this different? They need to understand some things. But if you take all the boxes that people need to understand to make surface level purchases and then apply them to deep dive coaching, it's just not going to work. And that's one of the things that causes so much frustration in the coaching industry that I see, is that people really want to help change lives, but they don't sell their coaching with a life-changing kind of offer or the awareness of what causes somebody to say yes. We did this video, so we'll put this on the docket. We did this series of videos last week, a 5-part series of how to change a life from a coaching perspective.
Yeah.
What I want to do, we're not going to do it on this video. It's just a new thought right now, but I also want to do a video, or maybe a couple of videos, on why and how people say yes to changing their lives.
Woo!
Because you have to understand the client on the other side of the buying decision.
Yeah.
If you know, or if you want to have more certainty in sales. So it's kind of like you've got your ice cream truck out there, and you're trying to sell ice creams the same way that you would sell mortgage or insurance policies to adults. You're trying to sell ice creams to kids the same way. And it's just not going to work, right? Anyway, not a bad analogy right there. Stop selling insurance policies to kids who just want ice cream. So, and I see you've been responding. Anything you want to add before?
Physically? Yeah. So, just really quickly, what came to me when you were talking is really understanding that both the body and the brain matter inside of this conversation, in us as the coach who's doing the offering, the selling, and in them as the client. And this is this is psychology, right? This is actually coaching, using coaching to sell and understanding what it is that makes people buy. And we do need to understand the distinct pathway, because even if we feel that emotional connection, we have to have the logic, the clarity to be able to justify that decision. And so both elements matter. We keep trying to keep ourselves out of it, right? And they need to feel that. And then on the other extreme, and I've totally been here, we can get all into the feels of things, but not actually have that clarity on the distinct path. And it's not an either or, it's for sure both.
Yeah. It's always a really good point. I think we as humans, we want things to be either or because we want things to be simple. We want things to always be this or that, because then it's easier for us to categorize it. We want to be able to tell right away if somebody's going to lie to us, or if somebody's dangerous, or if this thing is the thing that's going to change our life. We want yes or no. It's like we want to live in this binary, this or that, either or, good or bad, zero sum thinking is what it's called, because that's actually comfortable to our intellect.
Sure.
And, the next time, well,
Never.
Exactly. So, I don't even know that this was way before your time, Michelle. So in my business, no, not because of that, and only barely. This is I was gonna say this is the before Michelle stage of my business, but if you make that acronym, then it's the BM phase, which has a whole nother connotation. But one of the things that I taught in the very early stages of my business was a program called Buying Strategies. And it's exactly this. It's, why do people buy? And the whole premise was, if you understand why people buy, then you don't have to spend as much time trying to get good at how to sell.
Yes.
There are some strategies that will transfer, because some of the sales components are important whenever you're dealing with humans in any case. But if you had the choice between understanding why people buy things or how to sell things, choose why people buy things all day long, because now you understand the fundamental the system of people's buying choices. And then you can make your own choices on the fly. You can adapt when environments change, etc. But if all you do is learn how to sell, there's going to be a context where all of your how to sell information doesn't work at all.
Yep.
Such as trying to sell insurance policies to kids who want ice cream. And that's just one of the biggest frustration points. But because we think most coaches believe that they're not good at sales, then they're susceptible to buying how to sell programs, because we think that's our inadequacy and that's our deficiency that needs to be fulfilled. So then we just, chase the how to sell, how to market. And then you don't understand why people say yes to coaching programs. All right. So that's a little bit of a soapbox, but it's an important conversation, and we will fulfill that soon. But in this video, we're going to talk about the first stage of the 4 stages of neurological transformational coaching success, neuro-transformational coaching success. If any of you want support in where you are in your journey, how you fit into any of this content, then book a call with somebody on our team, coachsmith.com/book-my-call. What we're going to share with you in these next 4 videos, hopefully, is some sort of a diagnostic tool for you. What that means is I want it to diagnose where you are. You are here. This is what you've done. This is what you haven't done. The results that you're getting in your coaching business are going to be determined by the certainty you have in the product, which is you as a coach. So as you increase your value in the product, you will increase your certainty in the product, and then you'll increase your value, your perceived value from other people. And where you are in your business, I can almost guarantee I could talk to almost anybody and go, okay, where are you? What do you do? What kind of presence do you have in marketing? Whatever that means, whatever you want to do. What are you afraid of? How do you stop yourself? And if I knew some of the human metrics, the humetrics of what you're afraid of, what your head talk is telling you, I bet with probably 80% certainty, I could tell you where you are on this diagnostic stage, this framework of the stages, because they all make sense. Somebody that's in stage 1 will have these issues.
Right.
Somebody that's in stage 3 has totally different issues than the people that are on, stage 1. All right. So stage 1. And the context here is for you to get really good and for you to have certainty as a neurotransformational coach, a deep dive coach. What are the stages for you to get there? The first stage is called introductory information. And this is new content, actually. This literally came to me in a dream. Yes, sometimes I do dream about coaching content. Pray for me, I'll pray for you. And it was Saturday morning, like 3 days ago. And so we taught the first iteration of this at our demo day this past weekend.
Yeah.
And I think it's just so incredibly important content, again, for you to recognize this is where I'm at and this is what I need to go forward. So the first stage is introductory information. And that is where you learn about something. In this case, you learn about life coaching, or you learn about business coaching, or you learn about, coaching, however you learned about it. For me, I just learned about it in going to a lot of personal development seminars. And then I heard about this thing called coaching, and I saw what Jack Canfield was doing in front of the room. And then I started to hear some of the stuff that Tony Robbins teaches. And I'm like, oh, coaching? Like, okay. So I backed into coaching. I didn't come out of college with a coaching degree or a business degree. Like, I want to be a life coach. I backed into it because of where my life was. And I was just looking for personal growth to help me, do the sales and the stuff that I was doing and try to figure out what I wanted to do if and when I ever grow up. And I just backed into this idea of coaching. And I think a lot of people in the industry also backed into the idea of coaching.
Yeah.
So first of all, if that's you, let us know if that resonates with you, if you also just kind of backed into this idea of coaching through your own experience. That's important for you to know for a lot of reasons, but it's also important, we want to see, but it's important for people to recognize that you're probably not alone if that's how you got into this industry. So usually we get into the industry, we're intrigued by it, and then we start to get information. So we might but we might explore certifications. That's usually what most people think about. Like, if I want to do this particular career, what do I need to do to get competency? And when we think about careers like teaching or law or medical or insurance or almost anything, it's like, okay, if you want to do that thing, you got to know that thing first. So go get certified. And that could look like, college in certain markets, or just certification programs in the coaching market or whatever. And what you'll get in this stage is intellectual satisfaction to some degree from the information, because the information will be new to you. It's going to be exciting. And if you implement the information, which is the only reason you should ever learn information, is to implement it. Right. If you implement the information, you'll start to get a little confidence, because this is new. And usually when we learn something new, we've got a little bit of momentum with the newness, and we start to get a little confident with the stuff that we're applying. So you'll get a little confident in the work because of the information that you're getting. But in this stage, you don't have much confidence in yourself, simply because the majority of your confidence is coming from the information.
Right.
A percentage of the people will take the information and apply it in a way that can work. Like in this context, you get a coaching certification, and if you use it and start applying it and start talking to a bunch of people about it, you could get clients. But that's pretty rare, actually. It's possible, but it's not probable for most people, just because of the way that deep dive coaching works. And there's so much depth to these conversations that the confidence will only take, or the information will only take your confidence so far. And then the mind will go, but what about this? And what if they say this? And what about this? And when should I do this? And then the mind, informed by the information, will create a lot of questions that then shuts it down. Like, that's just what the mind does. Inform me, inform me, inform me. Then let me get worried and worried and worried. And that's just the way this computer intellect operates. And that's why stage one produces some confidence in the beginning in the work, maybe a little bit of momentum in the person, but does not produce confidence in you as the coach.
Right.
Generally, because it just almost can't for most people, right? Especially because we don't understand business.
Right.
You know, we backed into the coaching industry for all of those reasons. Most people get informed here, but they don't get inspired here to do a lot of the work because the fuel is intellectual at this point,
right?
Because it's information.
Yeah, because we're not giving ourselves an embodied experience, right? Like, we don't treat it like, you know, I always think about the abundance of information I have about being a blacksmith, but like back in the day, right? If you wanted to be a blacksmith, you got the stuff and you went and followed somebody around. You gave yourself the experience of actually doing the work. You didn't like listen to podcasts about blacksmithing, right? You didn't like read books about it. You put it in your body. And in this first stage, it really is just about putting it in the brain.
Blacksmithing.
In
And the coaching industry, what makes this more challenging is that a lot of the information in the coaching industry that people are purchasing is not even information on how to be a better coach. It's information on how to just get clients.
Yep.
So now the intellectual information, which does not have the power to give you that embodied confidence and certainty, is now being applied, if you have the guts to apply it, without confidence in yourself. But now you're taking the information and trying to put yourself out there. And so not only is the informational conflict that we're talking about at play here, but it's at play in marketing, not even in you feeling good about what you can do. So it's not in the product, it's in the marketing of the product. So now we're 2 levels removed of what most people actually need. But the coaching industry is fantastic at convincing people that all they need is just a smidge of information and do it the right way. And then you could have all this money, and then you'll have all the success, and then you'll feel good about yourself. And then, you know, you too can rent a private jet and fool other people, and maybe they'll buy the same shit that you just bought. Sorry, I tried to keep that inside. Every once in a while, I do get kind of cynical, and I don't think that the majority of the coaching industry is intentionally cynical or intentionally trying to take advantage of people. I think it's mostly just people trying to do what works. And what works a lot of times, because of what we're breaking down here, is just getting people to sell information. And it becomes, you know, somewhat of a pyramid scheme. I actually do feel really bad that I said the S word with as much judgment as I did. Which is kind of rare for me to actually say that and go, oh, I probably shouldn't have said that. But we say these things for you to understand your journey, not to talk bad about anybody else. It's just that we've been in this world for so long, and we dissect constantly. Why are people failing? Why are good people with good qualifications and work ethic and a lot of certifications, why are they still not making it happen? And that's when we explore, okay, they don't have certainty here. And it's because they're putting too much trust in the information, but the information is not trustworthy, especially when humans mess everything up, right? So one of the things that happens in this phase is a high level of something that has become like a part of the common discussion, which is imposter syndrome.
For sure.
Imposter syndrome, first of all, let us know if you've experienced some version of the imposter syndrome, which is what, I'm not ready, I'm not good enough, what if they find out, what if I can't actually help people? A lot of those what if questions that are literally one of the main purposes of the intellect. Like, we think imposter syndrome is a problem. Imposter syndrome is built into the system of how the brain works. It's not a problem. It's just something that is for pretty much all humans that care. Humans that care about doing good work, and humans that care about themselves, and humans that care about not being embarrassed, and humans that care about taking money and then delivering on that money. Humans that care about their integrity will have imposter syndrome. If you don't have imposter syndrome, I think you're either cut off from caring and giving a damn, or you're not aligned with anything that you have integrity around, like that you value integrity for. Because if you value integrity and you care, the brain will go, well, let's make sure then the thing that we want to have integrity around and the thing that we care about is going to happen. Because if we don't think it's going to happen, then let's pump the brakes and let's do something about that. Let's go get some training. Let's go do something. Most people that give a damn about doing really good work would rather retreat and not take shots than to take shots and hurt somebody.
Yep.
Either yourself or somebody else in the process. So if you have imposter syndrome, honestly, like, I bow down to you, because that means you're the kind of person that gives a damn that this world needs. Don't use it as a reason to sit down. Use it as a reason to stand up. Because you have this element inside of you that's going to cause you, if you lean into it and fix whatever the perceived deficiencies are and get the certainty in your body and continue to do the work, you have the element inside of you that society is not just craving, but demanding and needing, which is real people leading real people with humanity and transparency and honesty. All of those things are ingredients in the recipe of imposter syndrome. Here's what I want you to understand. If you're dealing with imposter syndrome on any level, and you're wondering if you could do this, you're wondering what to say here, your intellect is just going crazy, more information is the worst thing.
Correct.
You need is the worst thing you can do is go get more information, because now you're going to be pumping into your intellect the thing that's already not working.
Right.
You've got a lot of information, and the information itself is not the problem. It's the lack of application, or the lack of belief in the information, or the lack of you applying the information, the lack of belief in yourself applying the information.
Yeah.
So the worst thing you can do is go, okay, this isn't working. Let me get more of that.
Right.
But society programs us to believe that if we're not getting what we want, we have an information deficit. And is there any wonder why in an information economy where information is everywhere? Of course, the economy wants us to buy more information. The economy wants us to believe that what it has on the menu, which is more information, is your solution. And the truth, in my experience, is that for most of you in the personal development world, most of you that want to be coaches, if I were able to suck out 90% of the information that you have in your head right now that you're not implementing, and we just focus on the 10 that you really need to get in motion and get good at the work that you're doing, and use what you have inside of this 10% to go change people's lives, that would fundamentally change your entire existence on this planet. So adding more information just takes the 10% that you need and shrinks that percentage down and makes it harder to discern what is it that I need and what is it that I don't need. So we're sucked into this informational vacuum to where what we have isn't working, but then we just keep getting more and more and more. I think on some level it becomes a dopamine hit. On another level, it truly is an actual addiction. I think we have an addiction to information. I think we have an addiction to addition. We have an addiction to adding something more. If we think we don't have what we need, then we need more, right? And if we don't have the confidence or the certainty in doing the work, then we think we have an information deficit. So let me add something to fill this void. One final thing I want to say, I'll throw it over to you, is that No, you go ahead and say it, because it was your idea the other day that this is like, it's not this stage is not a problem. This stage
Yeah,
is, I'm trying to tee it up without taking the words out of your mouth. So
I got it. You want to make sure I'm picking up what you're putting out.
Yeah. But I'm sure yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. This is one of the 4 stages, right? So if you are here, if you're in this place of the information, if you're in the loudness of the imposter syndrome, I love that you spoke about just, it's a desire to protect our clients, but we're trying to protect our clients from ourselves because we think we're the problem, because we're being led away from ourselves and to more of the information. This stage is not a problem. It's a required stage. It's the first stage. It's just not the only stage. So that's where people get stuck, is that they think this is it, that this is enough, that this is the end. And just like our clients who sometimes think an awareness is a breakthrough, this is not the end. An awareness is important. A new thought is an important, a new aha or perspective shift. Those things matter. They're just not the end. So this information is valuable, friends. It's just not the end of the journey. And what came to me this morning is that everybody who's not here now was here, right? So if you're not in this stage, you were. Right. So this is part of the journey. And listen, I am somebody who, I speak to my coach very, very honestly, and left her a message yesterday, I think it was, about how I really just want to skip to the outcome. I really do. Like the reality is that the process sometimes for me, the journey is a more of a challenge for me to embrace. I just want to get to the part where it's good, where it's better, where I'm done, where I'm fixed, whatever that thing is that I'm trying to achieve. But for us to really understand and to help our clients understand, this is a journey. This is a process. There are stages, and this is just the first stage. So if you're here, awesome. And if you have imposter syndrome, it's a call, I believe, to go to the next stage. It's an invitation to stage 2, not an invitation to cycle back into stage 1.
Yeah, that's really important. And the way these particular stages, or any kind of diagnostic sort of framework that fits this, where one stage leads to the next, which leads to the next, the irritation of the current stage is an invitation to the next stage. But for most people, the irritation of the current stage sucks them down into, it's like the undertow. If you've ever been caught in a wave of the ocean, the undertow pulls us down, and then we get caught in the irritation of this stage. But because we're in this stage and we're only thinking about this stage, we try to solve the irritation of this stage with this stage. Mm-hmm. And that's why it cycles on itself and creates quicksand to not be able to push you to the next one. Yeah. Right. So, I'm thinking, for whatever reason, I have a lot of analogies that lead me to the Bruce Lee movie. I think it's called Enter the Dragon, where he fights like 4 or 5 different bad guys. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is one of the bad guys, and he fights the bad guys. And once he defeats that bad guy, then he has to walk up the steps to the next one. Right. And so if you think about when we're up against the capacity of our current stage, we're kind of up against the ceiling. That's an invitation to find the way to the next, to the next phase, to the next level, to the next floor of the building. So the experience of this stage is required. Mm-hmm. It's the expectations of this stage that create all of the frustration at a high level that causes most people to quit. Yeah. So I think, this is just numbers that I'm pulling out of my head right now, I think 80% of the people that want to be coaches die here. Mm-hmm. Because they just, it's like when you get really thirsty, like I don't know if you've ever done the saltine cracker challenge, where like you have to eat, I think 5 or 6 saltine crackers in, I don't remember if it's 2 minutes, maybe.
Oh.
Immediately everybody's like, oh, that's easy. I could do that. But there's only like, this is almost scientifically proven, I believe. There's only like 3% of the people that can do it, because the biology of the human mouth cannot eat the dryness of the salty cracker,
right,
without, oh, and you can't drink water or anything without replenishing with liquids, right? I mean, I'm positive you're going to try this immediately
on camera tomorrow.
Oh, I thought, okay, yeah, let's do that. That would be a good way to start the video. But there's something about when the mouth takes in the cracker, it needs the water.
Yeah.
Right. And so when we are in this state of like deep thirst, we tend to try to get the things that will actually just spin us in the same cycle, right? That works with addiction. You know, I notice it works with coffee on me a lot of times. Like my body doesn't want any water when it's drinking a lot of coffee. It just wants more coffee. But the more coffee I drink, the more dehydrated I feel. But it's like the body just keeps wanting what it's getting.
Yeah.
And so there's that informational quicksand that starts to pull us down. And the deeper we are in that place, the more it works on itself, right? It's like the tires spinning its wheels, and it's like the Jim Nysonger quote: the longer you've been trying to, what is it? You
I was hoping for you.
Yeah, I know. I was gonna say something, but you go ahead and say it, because you probably have it memorized, if not tattooed somewhere.
The longer that we've been stuck with a problem, and the harder that we've tried to escape, the less qualified we are to be able to assess the solution.
We're going to have to stop here on that one.
Okay.
We're not going to dive deep into that one, but I just want to highlight the less qualified we are. Yeah. The less qualified. And we continue to get less and less qualified the longer we've been trying and the harder we've been trying.
Yep.
To see our own solution. And that usually is because we're spinning inside of the cycle of the stage that we're in, trying to solve it with itself. So where does this fit in the whole grand scheme of neuro-transformational coaching? It fits into the very first stage, which is a required stage. It's just not the final stage. It's only one of 4, actually. And I do believe that 80% of coaches die here because they never get to the next stage. But you can't get to the next stage unless you go through this stage, right? So if you're in this stage, congratulations. I think all of you are in this stage if you're watching this video. Whether you've done a certification program with us or somebody else, at least you're getting information. So you're in the stage, regardless of where you are in this stage. Our version of this stage, which is something that we only started to do a few years back. Now, you know what? I hadn't really thought about this. Like, we used to force people into stage 2 because that was the only offer that we had. Until a few years ago, we recognized there's this piece that we're missing. And then we did an online program. And so we have an online certification program that fits what we're talking about here in stage 1. It's a bunch of information, but it's distinct because the information at this stage, if something is built, all right, this is good. If something is, none of the other stuff is, but finally, if something is built with the awareness of these 4 stages, then the thing will be built to help the student be ready for the next stage.
Bingo.
So that the information is actually doing some of the preparation for the next stage. But if the thing is only built just to be by itself, then it probably will not be built to get you ready for the next stage, because the thing doesn't even have the capacity of the next stage because it wasn't built with that in mind. So that's why I think a lot of the information products that we get, whether it's in the coaching environment or anywhere else, is just like one-off information products or programs, but they don't have the capacity to get you ready to take the next step because they're not part of multiple steps. Mm-hmm. Thankfully, ours is, but we actually did it backwards.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, why. So we used to only offer this, deep dive certification program. We thought, what's the next step? So we pulled from that program, and we put an online program up several years ago, and we call it BCC. I want to tell you a little bit about it. It's called Breakthrough Coaching Certification. Now, the reason that BCC is distinct, and the reason that it can help you go to the second stage, which I literally, that awareness is 2 minutes old, is because it doesn't focus on the coach. It focuses on the client.
Bingo.
If you want to be a transformational coach with humans, you have to do everything you can to understand humans. Your understanding of humans will make you a better coach than your understanding of coaching, if you only had one or the other. But then if you understand humans and you understand coaching, now you will, and you can be literally for the rest of your life, a neuro-transformational agent. Whether you're going to apply it in your family or in your job or in your coaching or your speaking or however you're going to apply it, you can fundamentally change humans' lives, but not unless you understand how to change a life and you understand human behavior. So a gigantic piece of our certification program is understanding human behavior. And then with that awareness, how can we take that understanding and then understand coaching tools, understand rapport, understand the concept of whoever has the issue has the solution, understand the art of coaching built upon the science of human behavior and human performance, understand what tools to use, but when. I got certified in all the coaching tools of neuro-linguistic programming in 2005, and I left the room going, well, now what do I do? Like, they didn't teach me when or where or how or why or what. Like, they just taught me the tools, but I don't know when to use them.
That's right.
And I don't know how to use them. And so I didn't have a whole lot of confidence in the mechanic. I had a lot of confidence in the machine and the machinery of the coaching tools, but not the, not me. So our program BCC really takes the holistic approach of understanding human behavior. Breakthrough Coaching Certification is, I believe, especially in the context of this first stage, is the essence of what you need at this first stage to get not just confidence in the work, but if you apply some of it, you'll get some confidence in yourself. And we've had a lot of people only take BCC and get paid coaching clients.
That's right.
So you absolutely can have some success, but it's got to be built upon the fundamentals of not just coaching, but human behavior, but also you as the coach going through this kind of work. So we took all of that into account when we did the program. Even though I didn't have this awareness of the 4 stages and so forth, I can recognize it now. Like, that's why BCC has been so successful for a lot of people.
Absolutely.
Is because it really hits the foundation of this stage of what we're talking about.
And you're a really good teacher. You're a really good teacher. And being a great coach is like 5% understanding the tools that you were just talking about, and like 95% understanding the how and the when and the who and the why and the where to use the tools. And with every single cell in my body, I know that we are really, 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 really good at teaching that 95%.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that. I do believe that. Myself, you as well, because we want to teach to comprehension. We don't want to just teach to comfort. What that means is, if you just learn the tools, and show you a few demos, and you go, oh, Kathy, I could do that, you're going to get a false positive. Your intellect will be satisfied and it'll feel comfortable. But then you're going to go out there and you're going to get socked in the stomach.
Right.
Because the humans out there will not operate the way that they do in the manual.
Oh my gosh. Never.
Or
We're
the
the
way,
worst. I'm the worst. I'm the worst. I won't even put it on anybody else.
one of the main things that we talk about, we should maybe put this into, and it's not one of our 12 tenets, but it really, it is. We just haven't put it as a 12 tenet, is that your script
Oh, yeah.
will never survive collision with a human.
Mm-mm.
So if all of your trust is in the script, meaning this is what I'm supposed to say, this is what they're going to say, this is the demo that I saw, this is how I understand it, and if all of your trust and confidence and certainty is in the script, the human will destroy all of it inside of the first 2 sentences.
Yeah.
And then what? And then what do you do?
Right.
If you don't understand human behavior, you're done.
Yeah.
And I was just talking to somebody yesterday, and we were talking about how for her, and I think for so many coaches, people are actually, I think this is an unconscious fear. People are actually afraid of getting coaching clients because they've got a secret internal fear of, oh my God, I don't know what to do with them anyway. And what if I mess them up? And what if they're paying me and I can't really fully help them?
100%.
So a lot of people, right. So a lot of people, even if you create a lot of confidence in getting coaching clients, but you don't have confidence in coaching clients, trust me, your brain knows how to shut you down at any level of your attempt at changing your life. And if you're actually afraid at a deeper unconscious level, and I think most people are, because this stage doesn't give the deep confidence of I can do anything with anybody. Like, just give me anybody and I can coach them.
That's right.
But it's an important phase to that point.
Correct.
It's just not, it just can't create all of that, right? In my experience, at least. So if you have an unconscious fear of getting coaching clients, you can be given all of the marketing templates. You can take anything that anybody's done to build a 7-figure coaching business or a 13-figure coaching business. You can listen to Richard Branson, and you can listen to Tony Robbins, and you can listen to anybody that has a business mindset. They could be giving you all of the right answers, all of the right information, everything you need. You'll sabotage all of it. Yeah. Because you're actually afraid of it working. You're afraid of it working because internally, one of the scariest things to you is actually not being rejected. It's being accepted.
Bingo.
So then what if, because of the way humans work and because of the way information works and because of what information does to the intellect when we're in this stage, what if this stage for a lot of people, or if you're in this stage only and you've never go beyond this stage, what if the majority of people are afraid of rejection and more afraid of success? Now, why would you push yourself through something you're afraid of to get to something you're more afraid of? That just doesn't make any sense. All right. If you like this video, watch part 2 right there. And now you start to get confidence in yourself because you're practicing some of the work. Stage 3 shifts it all again. Stage 3 is really the only way you can get certainty in yourself.
Right.
And then conviction in the work. We'll talk about that in the next couple of videos in the next few stages. But I just want you to understand.